What the heck is going on, YouTube? Welcome back. I know we just had a video posted yesterday, but this one just simply can't wait. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know by now that Risk 1v1 is officially on W3 Champions. What does that mean? Well, that means now we have a whole MMR system tied to our 1v1 community. It means that you can randomly matchmake with players and you get elo from just playing games. It was originally best of 5. We just posted an update today. It's now a best of 3 format. Quicker games, quicker lobby matchmaking, and it's really cool. You can actually see all the games that have been played so far. It's only been live for quite just a few days, I think, only 2 or 3 days at this point. And these are actually matches, so these aren't even just like total games played. These are matches won and matches lost. And when it was a best of 5 and now a best of 3, you can imagine we're talking about quite a lot of 1v1 games being played. The cool thing here is, yes, we have like all these familiar faces in the community. Bambucha holding the top spot here. Scarnix, I've never actually heard of Scarnix before, but look at this guy pumping 1v1s, and he's number 2 on the ladder at the moment. We have some USA representation. We got Nerla and Red Blood up here. I think how it works, guys, is it's based off of MMR, and it's also based off of level. So I think you get more, a higher rank if you play more games, obviously, while maintaining a higher MMR. I'm fairly certain that's how it works. Because you'll see down here, like, so Hot Wheel, this is Easter. He's 12-2. But so since he's only played 14 games, yeah, he has a higher MMR, but Bambucha has played 40 something games and has a pretty close MMR, right? So I think that's how the ranking system works. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here. But yeah, karaoke, MSCI Worlds up here, and then we can keep on going. We got the Masters, we got Risky Bet coming back to the community playing 1v1s, Bin's here, even Arker's hopping on the 1v1 train. Fire apparently had a great match earlier today. She knocked out Nerla, which is kind of crazy. Trees Clocks is coming back. He said he'd never would download W3C, and look at him now. He's downloading it and he's absolutely loving it. Mappy, Notes. Sap is having some lag issues. I think he plays on a Mac, so kind of his fault. But moving on, Risk. Even Darager is coming back, guys. I'm awesome. Zay, Neo Complex. I've been playing a little bit. Bambi, Solip. I've never even seen this guy. Like, so yeah, lots of people, and then it keeps going. You can go to this URL here. You can look at all of this, get the rankings and stuff. The other cool thing is you have your profile with your match history. You can go back through, you can get the match details, see how long they lasted, see who won. So you can see Bambucha pumped me, Bin, Mappy pumped me. The people that I've beaten are a little bit newer. Soxu pumped me in our first game. That's, I think, the only game Soxu played, so maybe we'll get him back here as well. And then the last cool thing that I'll show you is you can actually go to Flow TV here, hit custom games, you'll have a drop down, you'll hit Risk 1v1, and it will show you the most recent games played if there's games ongoing, which I believe Toothbrusher and Freddy are playing right now, right? So like I can literally just go in here and we could just watch that game. You can also go back through and watch some recordings. And so I think that's kind of the point that I wanted to show today. We have so many new 1v1 players in the community that I kind of want to go through and just watch a couple of these players who have been around for a while, like Bin and Mappy. They're pretty good 1v1 players. So is Darager and Powerstroke. And just watch how they play and maybe provide some tips for new players. Now, again, I'm not the best 1v1 player myself, but I kind of know like what you're supposed to do. I have trouble executing myself. So I think we're just going to dive in here then. We'll look at Bin and Mappy's game. Again, these are two pumpers. Mappy coming back to the community. Bin's always been a top Risk 1v1 player. He's known for his early game all-in strats. And we'll just kind of see how these games play out. And hopefully just watching will help some of these newer players get an idea of how 1v1s are supposed to be played. And just some best practices, I guess, is what I want to show off. So you'll, again, when we're in this view, by the way, this is it's a fog of war game. So they can't see everything. They can only see the area around their bases. So for example, Mappy can only see this little area that I'm circling around his base. He can't see this over here. He can't even really see this down here. The last thing I'll share is when you're on the 1v1 map, yes, there is a fog of war, but if you do have a base in a country, like Mappy has this base right here, if your opponent has a base in that same country, you will be able to see that through the fog of war. So Mappy will know that Ben has this top base up here, and Ben will know that Mappy has this bottom base here. But otherwise, like in this instance, like Mappy's not going to know Ben has this base, and Ben isn't going to know that Mappy has this base. But you can see what they're doing with their expansion as we're panning around the map here. So this is really what early game the newer players struggle with. So one manning is a huge thing, getting out of the tower range. So the towers all have a radius. You can move units and you can drag the defender. So this is the defender and then this is the tower. And if you drag that defender to the edge of the circle and your unit is over here, it's actually going to be outside the tower range. So that's what we talk about, or that's what we're talking about when we say one manning. You're going to actually watch Ben up here. He's able to one man. So see, the tower is not hitting him. And also when you do it with a Marine, Marines will always win the one man. So when they have a shorter range and they can still barely get outside the tower range, but yeah, you're going to be able to see the Marine is always going to be able to win the one man. If you do it with a rifle, like you can see was done in this case, you'll have to swap at least once with your original defender. So what I mean by that, let's see if we can actually see a swap happen here. I don't think we're going to be able to see a swap happen, but maybe for the next game I can show you guys. And yeah, we'll see right now. So Ben is going to have, he has 10, Mappy has 10. You can see how much income they're going to have for the next turn. And expansion-wise, you can see the best path to expansion is always from the southwest of the map to the northeast of the map. And the reason for that is the tower placement. It's just a lot easier. Like if you want to take this base, you put a unit right here, right? And that tower can't hit. But if you're coming from like this angle, right, you kind of got to wrap around. Or like if you're trying to take this base, there is no way for Ben to easily get around the tower without getting hit. And the tower, once your rifle takes 4 hits from it, it's dead. As we can see, Ben actually goes for what we were talking about earlier. He's got a cutting strat. I think Mappy kind of likes to do the cuts as well. Mappy's looking at Egypt at the moment, and Ben might try to snipe that. Ben actually has a full middle. He's actually putting a lot of pressure here. And you can see, I think Mappy's kind of dead this game. So Mappy, he does get some income. It looks like he might have captured a couple countries, but then he also lost income from both of these places and from this place. So the expansion Mappy has this round is actually going to be nullified by Ben. And it's going to be a pretty big income difference here. Yeah, Ben with an 11 income lead. Mappy realizes it's over and he forfeits. So we'll take a look here. As we go into this next game, we're going to look at the turn ones, and I'll try to find an example of unit swapping. Again, like, so I've been asked in these games as well when playing new players, like, what are the best countries to go for? If you have any of these bottom bases, those are amazing. Like, so Mappy in this instance, he has this bottom base. He can make one rifle, place it here, and then he can just hit Control V, and that is the swap button. So if he has the tower selected, he can swap this unit out. It will swap it with his defender. You're actually going to see it right here. So he just puts it here. He does a little swap. So that quick little animation, you can see how this guy has some damage on him. He took a shot from that rifle, but he swaps it once, and now his rifle has the advantage. He's out of the tower range, and he's going to get the base. A nice little one-man here with the Marine. So he's got the Marine out of the tower range. He's going to get that. So any of these like bottom bases, like Ben having this base, you can put it right by the tree. You can get this. You can also, for the next turn, you'll be able to get Palestine. You'll be able to come up into Lebanon and Syria very easily. And what else do we have? Yeah, look, we even have Ben doing the left base over here. Now this one's a little more tricky, but because you can run the unit all the way over here and be out of 3 different tower ranges, you can actually get that base. You can see how they're just being able to take bases with one rifle here, and Mappy does capture that. He gets hit by the tower, but there is a way. See, you get on this little peninsula here, and you're out of the tower range. That's beautiful. Unfortunately for him, Ben has a block, and you can see another really good thing that these players will do. Experienced players, Ben saw that Mappy had units here, and he instantly held back. So you know he's holding position on this unit, because normally if you're not, what's going to happen is the rifle kind of just sits in the middle, right? They're just kind of sitting in the middle by default. And they can sit in the middle like that on hold position. But what Ben did is he right-clicked it, moved it over here, and hit H to hold position. So it keeps him further back, tucked away under the tower. So if Mappy does try to take this, he's going to have to take tower damage. Mappy goes for a cut this time. These two guys going back and forth on the cuts. Ben sees it, and he does block with this, and I think Mappy actually might have been able to get that base. He did have that 1 extra gold, but it's a little too late for that now. He does get the Belgium cut, though. One thing, too, about W3 champions is, unfortunately, the names of the countries don't show. So when you play on BattleNet, you actually see the names of the countries, and that's very helpful for newer players. Like, I can't remember the names of all these countries off the top of my head, and that is a problem, right? Because the scoreboard shows where the country is. So Slovenia right here, Mappy just took it. Or maybe this is even Slovenia, right? I think this is actually Slovakia. This is Slovenia. This is Austria here. This is Czech. So I remember a couple of them, right? But because the scoreboard is very important. That's how these guys know where their opponents are going, and that's how they can go get some cuts. So like right now, Jordan popped up for the briefest moment, and so Ben, if he was watching, he would know that Mappy has Jordan and that this is a threat. Like, this could be threatened by Jordan. And Mappy gets Austria. Looks like a pretty decent turn for Mappy. Better turn for Ben, though, and it's a 24-22, turn 3, which, for income purposes, if you guys ever have, like, goals, really, like, turn 1, you want to be able to get... Obviously, like an 11 or 12 is great. A 10 is acceptable. If you can get a 13 or a 14, you're probably very experienced, because what you have to do is you have to use the bounty that you get during the turn. I didn't even talk about that, but there is a bounty system in this game. I don't even think we've mentioned it in any of the tutorial videos. So yeah, if you're a newer player, every 4 gold worth of units killed is 1 gold back to you. So you get 25% of the value of a unit. So a rifle is worth 1 gold. So if you kill 4 rifles, you'll get 1 gold. If you kill 2 rifles and a healer, that's a total value of 4. You get 1 gold. So when you kill 4 gold worth of units, you get 1 gold back. Usually you won't see, like, maybe you will. There's a bounty systems as well, like bounty bonuses, like when you get to like 200 kills and stuff as well. Where you get a small chunk of change just as a nice little bonus to your income. Or it's a one-time bonus. But yeah, I got a little sidetracked. So we do see Mappy here making the 5G ship. He's got this. So this is another great thing to see. Like Mappy, he has control of the ports here, and the 5G ship is really strong. Ben responds in kind with a 20G ship, which is way stronger, by the way. The 5G ship, it's good on damage. It does 38 damage, but it is pretty weak. As you can see, it gets takes damage pretty heavily here when shot by rifles because it doesn't have any armor. This also doesn't have any armor, but it does have 2,000 health compared to the 550 health of this. So the B ships are pretty good as well. Usually in 1v1 formats, you're going to see a lot of A ships in the first couple rounds, and then you'll see some B ships being made there on out. It's very rare that you'll see SS made. You usually only build an SS, which is the strongest unit, and it's a ship in the game. It's 45 gold, and usually you only see that if the person who builds it is up heavily on income. So Mappy is going to try to hold on to this. I think, so I did get distracted. So the turns, there is kind of like an income goal that you want for each of the turns that you hit. So like we talked about, turn 1, 10 is acceptable, 11, 12, great. Anything above that, 13 or 14 is phenomenal. You're a pro. And then turn 2, if you're getting around like a 20 is pretty standard nowadays. 22, 24, really good. Anything above that's great, obviously. And then for round 3, like you probably want to be in the 30s, like the mid 30s if you can get up there. Anything in the 30s plus is pretty good. It also depends. Like you guys can see, we're turn 5 and these guys are hovering in the 30s. That's because these guys got in fights so early on. Mappy almost kills this ship but loses his 5G ship in the process, which is tragic for him. He's out positioned, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, if you guys get into fights early on, obviously the whole income thing is thrown out the window. If it's just a game of expansion, you guys aren't fighting early, then that round 1 to 3, that's kind of what you're focused on. And another thing too is like really round 1 and 2, you want to be very picky about your units. Try not to lose your units. You want to expand efficiently. That's kind of where you're still 1-manning and 2-manning places. But come round 3 on, like it is okay to start losing some of your units to bases. So we're going to see Mappy try to go for a drop on Israel. He does lose Jordan here. But yeah, like you're going to be a little more sloppy with your units. You don't want to be individually microing units in turn 3, or when you have bigger fights like this, like you're fighting in Germany, you're fighting in Israel, you're fighting in Italy. You can't really be microing all these different individual units. So at that point, it starts to turn into more of an FFA. Like if you ever play a Risk FFA game and you're in a 1v1 fight, when you get to round like 4 or 5 onwards, that's kind of where this game, like that's where it starts to feel more like an FFA. And one thing you'll see really good players do is expand behind the fighting. So they'll use spawns. Like one thing, like you can see Mappy has like 20 gold worth of units that he's not using. So that's another big tip here. And there we go. Here he's starting to move those units out. You want to be using your spawns. That's free units on the map. Which is another huge thing, is why like Mappy has a better position at the moment. He's out positioned in the sense that Bin is under him, and usually if you're under your opponent, you have the advantage. That's why like Greece drops and pushing from Greece, Italy drops and pushing from Italy, being in Africa and pushing up here. That's why those are always so popular in 1v1s, is because if you're under your opponent, you have the advantage. Whether that's like having ports, whether it's having ships on the coast, pushing from a southern position, being outside the tower range, just the south to north push is always ideal. But one thing that's overlooked as well, like in this situation, Mappy, again, kind of struggling here, but ideally Mappy would be using all of these spawns. So every country that you own is going to give you spawns. 2 gold country is going to give you 1, this country is going to give you 3, this country is going to give you 2, and those are free units that you can use, and it really starts to add up. So you'll see all these units here, because he's all connected, he could just use all those units in this one fight here. Whereas if you're Ben, he has his spawns over here in the Middle East, and Ben is also doing a pretty poor job of using his spawns at the moment, but you can see like what he's trying to do. He's trying to use the leftover units here in the Middle East to expand. It's a lot harder for him. He can't use those units in this fight. It's going to take a long time for those spawns to come over here. He's going to have to take cities and countries first before he can even use those spawns against Mappy. So Mappy has an 11 income lead, but he also has what we call a spawn advantage. So if you look at this right now, like Ben, he's only getting 1, 2, 3, 4 free units per turn. Mappy is getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. Mappy's getting like 20 to 23 free units per turn for this fight over here on top of his income lead. So that's a huge thing that's often overlooked, is the spawn advantage. You can see like Ben is having to use all these spawns over here. He still hasn't used these guys, but he's trying to use his spawns to expand. And it's just taking a long time for them to get in the fight, whereas Mappy just can have a huge ball of units. Again, Mappy has a lot of units not being used. It looks like he did set his spawn though for this turn. So that's another big thing that's often overlooked. And then I think we briefly touched on it, but expansion while fighting. So you can see they're both increasing their income. They're not just fighting here, they're also expanding behind it. Ben went for Turkey that turn. Mappy was able to get some countries here. I think he's also been expanding up here. See, he's using his spawns. You can grab this little fireplace and select all the fireplaces around it and set your spawns, which is what Mappy's doing. It sets him up for an easy capture and expansion for the following turns. We have a B ship fight happening over here. Mappy has the HP lead. So it looks like Mappy is going to win that. Ben's going to have to pull back. Ben does have 2 A ships over here. Ben does pull back on this. And you can see the spawns are slowly starting to trickle in. Ben is slowly trying to use them. You can also see Ben is expanding behind this. So this is Algeria. Mappy just got France though. France is huge. France is a 7 income country. The income is determined based on how many cities you have in that country. And it looks like Mappy held on to 20 gold at the end of the turn. It doesn't really matter here because this one is pretty much over. Ben's kind of griefing at the moment. Okay, and then he forfeits. So Usually you don't want to be holding gold from turn to turn, because that gold, if you're not using it in a fight, you can be using it to expand. There are some situations where you might want to hold on to that gold, but yeah, for the most part, you want to be spending it unless you have a very specific reason for why you're holding on to it. Another thing that you'll see is these guys are only making rifles, healers, roars, maybe some mortars, not a huge mortar line, but some mortars. And you're also going to see that they are making ships. But other than that, like, they're not making tanks, they're not making knights, they're not making generals, they're not making really any of the port units other than like a marine or an A ship or a B ship. This could be a really interesting match here, by the way. I think we're going to just move to casting and commentating here. And if you guys identify any questions or like things pop up, just let me know in the comments and we can get those answered. So Ben has a really great setup here. He's able to get all of this. Like, having this base, you see he had the right base here, but this base here, you build 2, he captures this, he captures this, he captures this, he uses a marine to capture this, and then he has this as well. So you can see normally you only start with 4 gold, but because he got 4 kills, he got a bounty back, and he's able to now go for Normandy, and he's barely gonna... Oh, he missed it by maybe a second. That would have been a 14 income turn 1. Mappy, on the other hand, he was able to do Israel, Palestine. He was able to do Lebanon, which is really great for him. And then he also did West Greenland. So other places that he probably could have done that are a little bit harder is Siberia from the right base. And then, yeah, you can see it now. He's doing Azer from the top base, which, again, is a little bit harder. You got to run out of the range, but good stuff from him. And Ben actually just does his all-in strat. He identifies where Mappy is. Mappy spent on expansion. Ben spent all-in here. Ben's just using his spawn, so he was able to get this, and he's able to use spawns and maybe 2 gold just to capture some countries while putting all this pressure on Mappy. So Mappy is still focused up here. Ben is going to get the Palestine cut. Mappy may not even be able to get Jordan in time, and I think Lebanon might be cut, Syria might be cut. Mappy only has 1 gold. He spends it here, so Ben could pull back and cut Lebanon if he really wants to. And Mappy is not going to get Jordan this turn. And income lead's going to go to Ben. This was a very nice cut, and unfortunately, Mappy wasn't able to see it in time here. And then you can see a very early roar. This is a Ben classic, guys. Ben builds up a snowball early on, puts a lot of pressure on you. At the same time, he's able to expand a little bit with spawns, and there you have it. So Ben takes that series 2-1. Very great stuff from them. And this is the cool thing about being on W3 Champions, guys, is we can literally just go and, like, there's 2 games going on right now. Risky Bet versus Trees. Like, we can literally, I think we can just hop right in here and watch this. Like, this is a live game. It just started a few minutes ago. And we can just watch this game as it goes live. We can fast forward through it if we want to. And I'm just so excited. We've seen so many new players playing. I'm hopeful that the new players stick around. I don't want anyone to get discouraged. The matchmaking has been tough because a lot of the Risk 1v1 community is now playing on W3 Champions. So in that situation, like when everyone has new MMR, but you have all these experienced players, they're running up, like the new players are running up against people who have played for years, right? And it's really not fair at all. But to our credit, I would say I think I've seen a lot of people like Boku's and others in the community provide tips to the new players and help them out in those matches. And I think the biggest way to help is literally, if you're new, just watch some games. Just watch how people are playing on Flow TV. Go to the leaderboard that we were showing. Look at who's Grandmaster, who's Master, who has some good MMR. If you see their games pop up on Flow TV, watch them. Come to the YouTube channel, join the Discord, the voice chat. There's lots of people that were willing to help and provide tips and train, honestly, because that's what it is. Like, like we said in the intro video, it's a very easy game to learn, but it's very difficult to master. There's a lot of nuances to 1v1s, and it can be tough for new players, especially when you're going up and playing against pros. So I say pros loosely, but experienced players is what I should say. So Trees is going to go for Morocco here. He also has Tunisia, and then he did have whatever this country is called, I forget, but Risky Bet. he sniped it. So in this situation, Trees is a newer player, but he has been playing 1v1s quite a bit. So Trees is definitely experienced. He's in the Wood League, but he's played quite a bit. Risky Bet, on the other hand, is a veteran who he's basically been a top 8 Risk 1v1 player for a very long time. But he is just now returning. He probably hasn't played in over a year, so he might be a little rusty, but from the looks of it, well, getting a nice little base cut, a 12 income turn 1. It looks like he's shaking off the rust very quickly. Beautiful expansion here. He's taking Bosnia. He's going into Mont. He's going into Serbia. He's able to get whatever this country's called. I really wish I knew. Like, I did not realize I relied on the names of the countries so much. He's also doing Crete, which one man in Crete is pretty challenging, but he's going to... Oh, he's not even going to... Okay. He spent a little extra here, maybe just to try to get it in time. I actually like it if it works out, and it doesn't work out. Oh, that was tragic. So he could have been out of 22, but he does miss out there. And now he has the spawn advantage here. So he has all these free units that he can throw here. If Trees defends this, Trees is going to be in a tough time, I think. Because here's the thing, like Doomsy, Risky Bet's name is Risky Bet / Doomsy. If Doomsy doesn't take the fight here, he can still expand behind it with the units, whereas Trees, his units are kind of stuck here. So Trees could go for this, but other than that, it's a really hard out for these units to expand, whereas Risky Bet, like if he spends here, he's able to just go and expand. Like he can go Romania, he can go up into Poland, he could even go up into here, he could take the units south into here. Trees is kind of trapped in this little area, and on top of that, it looks like the surround is official. This is going to be a close fight. I think that Trees is going to lose it. Trees, behind this, does get Spain, though, while Risky Bet got Romania. And I don't know, if I'm Risky Bet, I would just be happy enough that Trees spent so much here. I don't think I would keep pushing this, but... Oh, you can see, so that was a very nice play by Trees. So that was a roar. The roar, when you pop it off, it gives your units a 25% damage increase. What Trees did is he clicked on his base and he right-clicked the roar. So he told his base what unit to shoot, and that's how that roar died. So he was directing that. That was all. That's a micro and a skill. That's not just like random chance that happened. So again, the nuances to Risk can be... There can be a lot to it, all these tiny little things that make a huge difference. You can look at the KD here to get an idea of who's taking the better fight, and you can see Risky Bet is kind of running into a wall here. I loved this play from Risky Bet initially, but he got absolutely obliterated there. Trees held on to a lot of his units. Trees also expanded behind that. He actually has the full west now. He has northern Italy. He has Switzerland. He's even going up here. And now holding on to this paid off. He was able to hold on to this long enough for him to expand and get a nice position on the map. And he's even going for the southern part underneath Risky Bet. So I think Risky Bet just made a huge mistake. He's really hyper-focused on this little area. He's going to try to go for Ukraine. That's another 6 income for him this turn if he can get it. And Trees has 23 gold. Trees might actually be able to capture France. I'd almost consider giving this up, just full-out expanding this turn if I was Trees, especially because he has Albania and he has Macedonia. He can cut Trees here. He can build ships. Doomsy can't build ships, by the way. Doomsy, Risky Bet, he does get this base in northern Italy. He's trying to go for the ship kill. Trees decides to build the 20G ship with that leftover gold, and he's gonna miss France by the port. That would have been such a huge win for him. I love that he has the ship. He can park the ship here. He can reinforce this base. But Doomsy, Risky Bet, he has way too many units at the moment. This is almost to the point where you're putting your guys into the firing squad. The second you spawn, they die. He's going to get the roar again. Great stuff from Trees, sniping the roar. This ship being injured is really dangerous for Trees. But now, so there's a couple of things happening here. Trees has a really nice position. Risky Bet's kind of trapped into this little hole in Europe, like in the middle of Europe. He's kind of stuck. He's not able to really expand. Trees was able to get France. His spawns are pouring in. You can see he's doing a good job of using most of his spawns. He has them set. That's what all these units are running across the map over here. But Risky Bet kind of has a snowball of units. So he had a nice fight here, and he has a pretty big snowball of units left over. And he's going to use those to try to bully Trees, but Trees has a nice amount of units here. It's really unfortunate that his ship is injured, but again, he's going to go for the drop, which is a great play. He's going to try to push from the south up. This is why ports in the Mediterranean, especially ports like these that I'm showing on the map here, are very important. They allow you position on the map to be able to push up, so he's going to try to shut this down from the south. Risky Bet uses all those leftover troops from this fight, and he has them over here now. This is a pretty good fight for him just because he has a sheer volume of troops. That base is completely surrounded. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when Trees finally makes his way up here. And Risky Bet actually with a great push in Macedonia, and he's pushing north to south, and that's dangerous, but he has way more units, and Trees doesn't have the gold to be able to defend this. So it does look like this is working out really well for a Risky Bet now. The tables have kind of turned. I don't think that 20G ship did enough for Trees, and I think that that's kind of what's making the difference at the moment. That 20G ship is supposed to be his saving grace and supposed to shut all this down, but that 20G ship is on fire, and he can't really use it to its full effectiveness. Now Risky Bet's able to come down here into Greece. He's going to get a lot more income, and now he's in a very safer spot where he has a lot of places to expand, but Trees really doesn't. Trees has this. He could use these spawns for a drop. He could try to get back into Greece. He could try going up into here. He could try using some of these spawns here for the islands. He could try going up into here. But this is a lot easier for Risky Bet. Risky Bet just has to defend this. He can be aggressive. I love the ship building here. And Trees is now on the run. If this takes one more hit, it's going to die. So Risky Bet also, like, he can come up into here. He has so many expansion paths now. And Trees is kind of now the one trapped into his little corner of the map. He can't really expand too well. And the problem here is when you're out incomed, it's really hard to do the drops and to push south to north, because that 18 extra gold is almost another B ship. So Risky Bet, he can always match or exceed the ship count that Trees has. And you can see that here. He still has 27 gold after building a B ship this turn. Trees only has 9. And Trees is trying to push this. This is a really hard fight, by the way. It's kind of a hard fight for both players. Once the trees are cut, I like it better for the France player. But Trees does forfeit. Oh, man, I feel like he had a chance to win that game. He did all the right things in the first few rounds. Holding this base was beautiful for him. Risky Bet kind of played himself by focusing so much on this while Trees was able to get the whole west. But then it kind of fell apart. Then I really wished Trees would have stopped everything here, maybe shut down or not let the Northern Italy base get sniped, but I think he should have full focused here once he had the west captured in the income lead. You're going to see a nice little one-man, so you can get tricky with it. You pull the base or the defender out. His rifle is outside the base range. Beautiful stuff there. You're going to see Risky Bet had these two bases. He makes 2 Marines. He's going to go for this. Then he's going to go for this. So it's kind of like a vision thing. You just have to have a vision and be creative with how you're going to expand sometimes. In this case, really great stuff for Doomsy to come here, take this with the 2 Marines. Really great stuff from Trees. This is one that people don't do too often, but this doesn't look like you're out of the tower range, but you can actually get out of the tower range by placing your unit right on the coast here. And you're going to see it again. Trees doing some really great stuff, showing that he's got the technical work here, technical skills to be a top player in the league. So great capture of Northern Italy. Not easily done. Unfortunately, Trees, there's a block here from Risky Bet. A lot of Trees' bases, like North Russia, Siberia, those are great for like turn 1, turn 2 expansions, or turn 2 or turn 3 expansions, but they're a little harder and more time consuming to do. I'm kind of looking at the map, trying to figure out what I would do if I was Trees. It looks like he actually was cut. Yeah, so Doomsy, Risky Bet, he does go for the cut here. He actually didn't get this in time. He goes for the snipe here. He's going to have both of these. So good play for a Risky Bet. I do like that Trees has the Italian region and the islands kind of wrapped up. This is pretty dangerous, though. Risky Bet could be getting Morocco here. Trees is going to get Siberia. You can see he just kind of sneaks the units under, gets outside of the tower range, and is able to get it with just 2 guys instead of 4. Risky Bet's going to use a spawn and one guy. His spawns, so that he got 2 from this country. He's going to get Belgium. And Risky Bet definitely having a better turn 2 than Trees. That 2 income cut was really a 4 income swing in favor of Risky Bet. But now it kind of gets tricky, right? So, yeah, this is what we were talking about. Trees using his spawn. He's going to build here. He is going to go for North Russia. I think he overspent 1 here. He only really needed 2, and then the spawn. Unfortunately, he overspends 1 here, which is it's very nitpicky. But when you only have 18 gold for expansion, guys, every single gold matters. And so it's definitely a resource management game. But we're gonna have to see what he does, because he has Disco Bay, he has West Greenland. You can see this is how the names, by the way, are supposed to look. This is how it looks on BattleNet. These names are on every country, but it must be some kind of asset limit or something. That would have been a beautiful snipe, by the way, and he still has a chance to get that snipe. Risky Bet might be busy elsewhere. Risky Bet has a lot of units he's not using here. He is going to get the snipe. That is a perfect cut from Trees. That is a game-saving cut right there. And at the same time, Trees is doing a beautiful job getting Spain. So the nice part about Spain is that if the player is south of you, look at how long of a land bridge it is to get to this one base. So this player can't really reinforce, and this can be a really big choke point. One way to push this is with building A ships and putting the A ships on the coast. So that's a really great way to push this base. But this base can really be the key to the west. If you break this base, you kind of get the whole west opened up to you from that point on. We'll see if that plays a role in this game or not, as we see Trees is building a lot of units in Germany. I think I would have just been content getting these 2 bottom bases sniped. But, I mean, here's the thing. He made Risky Bet spend. Yeah, he has 2 choices, right? He can either go and attack, or he can take some of those units, come through these trees, and he could expand himself. So he is going to do the attack. It looks like Risky Bet's going to have to pull back to the Netherlands here. But problem here for Trees is that Risky Bet has all the middle. So the nice part about the middle is it's very easy and fast expansion. The spawns start to ball up into a mass big enough to just like roll over the middle and take all these bases. He also has the Middle East. He also has Africa, and Trees really doesn't have any presence in those places. So Trees, unfortunately, now kind of stuck in the middle of the map. He is blocking this like we talked about. We'll see how Risky Bet and Trees respond to this. This is a very big threat. But Trees having these bases is pretty nice as well. He's going to make it hard for Risky Bet to get France. I think Risky Bet went in here with the goal of not going for France, but he's trying to go for the Switzerland cut. And Trees is on top of his game. He gets the block there. Beautiful stuff from Trees. But this is the scary part, right? Trees actually with plus 15 income this turn. I think he got Poland, he got Germany. Some really great moves from Trees. I love that he was able to still expand while all this is happening. Risky Bet's actually transporting these units, so he might try to go for the Catalonia drop. As the Spain defender, Catalonia drop is not a bad thing. You can get a very nice surround on these ports if they decide to spend there and defend it. What is really dangerous for Trees at the moment is this. So I'd be very concerned about a snowball effect happening here. Looks like he still has a lot of gold in the bank to hold off on this. He actually comes. He might even be able to get France this turn. He does see this instantly. He builds to defend this. And see, this only cuts 2 income. So this is not a big deal. It'd be worse if it was France or if it hit anything else. But this is not a big deal for Trees at all. This is a big deal, though. This is quite a push. You got the roar. You got all the spawns are going to flow in. You got the healers coming in. Some mortars to cut trees. And Trees is actually on a time crunch, by the way. I think Trees needs to finish this off. He can't be fighting on both fronts. I think he could get smushed here. He does still have that 5 income lead. But the spawn, see, like this is where it's rough. All of these units aren't really being used, right? These units are at least expanding in Russia, which is really great for Trees, the fact that he's still expanding with those units. But, oh, this is dangerous, guys. The second this is gone, like, yeah, Trees did get France this turn, but Spain is cut, and now all of this is threatened. So I think he did go for the focus on trying to wrap up these places here, but losing this base is a huge blow to Trees. Trees has a lot of units in defense here. Having a huge snowball here. He kind of needs this presence over here in the west. And hopefully he's able to transport these units and use them for something. The Russia units are still running around expanding for him, which is great. But this is becoming very serious for him. Defending France is challenging when the opponent gets Spain. And the income lead, though, for Trees is unreal. He is doing a phenomenal job. He has all of Italy now. He has Greenland. He has all this land. He's gotten these countries in Russia. Looks like Doomsy's risky bet is kind of struggling here. We do actually see Trees built a major. I know I said that usually you don't build majors. There are certain situations where you might build a major or build a knight, but in most cases you wouldn't. But this is the problem. Like, risky bet just has a snowball here. And Trees can't use these units to fight. Like this, look at this little choke point. You can see all the deaths here. It's because they're all running into a choke. They're getting hit by more rifles than can actually fit in here. And he doesn't have enough on the Western Front to really stop all these units from rolling over the map. And now the income is, it's the same. So all this getting captured, these being cut. Trees is kind of in trouble here. Again, all his spawns over here, all these free units, like this is like 20 plus units for free that he can't even use. And he desperately needs them at this moment. This is a great play from Risky Bet. He's going to cut the trees here. This is going to allow him to have a better reinforcement rate on this side and also a better backline by cutting these trees. The one nice part for France is there's more land on this side and this side than there is here and here. You would think, oh, that doesn't really matter, but it does. So I call it a conclave. It's really a concave. But he gets this nice little semicircle, this crescent moon. And when you see that, that means that you have more units shooting at his units. So this is usually a way better thing for the person who has the conclave. Then you can see like this middle is just a death pit because there's more rifles shooting at these guys. So the lines are thinned here, and you can actually see Trees is gaining KD pretty quickly. But Risky Bet is reinforcing this now, and Trees isn't. So the reinforcements come in. Trees needs to reinforce from multiple bases. That's another really good move that you'll see. Risky Bet was reinforcing from 2 bases, while Trees was just reinforcing from 1. So now his massive units is bigger. Trees built the SS, but unfortunately at this point, I don't think the SS does it. That's 45 gold, guys. So while he has 45 gold on a ship that's sitting on France where he doesn't even own France, this ship can't do anything else. Like, it can cut Catalonia, but it can hold the France port, but that's about it, guys. Like, this ship was really, I mean, it's a game-losing ship. Trees still kind of had a chance in this game, but now with the ship out, there's really not much that Trees can do. This ship is just too useless in this situation, which I think any ship here would have been useless, but the SS definitely useless. 45 gold is a lot, and you can see the income lead heavily in favor of Risky Bet. The KD plus 100 heavily in favor. Trees definitely played well, and yeah, he held his own. He made it a competition in both of these games, but it does look like Risky Bet's going to run away with this one now. Trees is kind of falling apart on the different fronts here. This is kind of a doomed push because even if you get the city, you get surrounded after you capture that city. And then, yeah, you have these huge snowballs of units. Like, this ship is just making sure that Risky Bet can't get that, right? And if he comes down here, he only cuts 2 income with it. It just doesn't do enough. And even all these countries that were captured from the Russia spawns are now getting threatened by the push. Trees are kind of getting cut here, and there you have it. So congrats to Risky Bet. Congrats to Trees. Trees is definitely improving. Risky Bet's probably one of the top players here. Once he shakes off the rust, I think he'll be up there vying for a top spot on the leaderboard. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be all for today. I had to post a video. We've been having so many people playing hundreds and hundreds of matches. Can't even count the amount of games that have been played. And it's all on W3 Champions. It's pretty easy to install and set up. I was able to do it. If I can do it, a non-tech person, so can you. So I hope to see you guys playing, and I hope that we can get the community thriving. I hope we get lots more people in the community. We got lots of people coming back. I've seen so many new faces over the last few days. Lots of new people who they're just going up against vets, they're losing, and they keep on playing. And I think that there is a thing with this game where it can be very addicting, like mastering something that's so challenging and so like it's just so unique. So if you guys want to, then download W3 Champions, load up the game. I think how you play here, let's see. Yeah, so you go here, you'll click on custom game, and then we have our Risk Europe 1v1 in the drop down. You can choose whatever here, and then you would just hit find match, and you'd queue up for a match. And we also have the Wood League tournament that has been announced. We are currently in the qualifier round. So what that means is basically you play on W3 Champions, and then while playing, you're going to get MMR through winning and losing matches. And that MMR is going to determine your seeding in the tournament. So the person with the highest MMR obviously will get the 1 seed. Person with the lowest MMR will get the last seed. We already have like 25 to 30 people signed up, and we're still with open sign up. So the qualifier round is for the next few weeks. Anyone can still sign up. Anyone can qualify. All you have to do is play matches, get an MMR. I think you have to play 5 matches to get your MMR. And then from then on out, obviously your MMR can go up or down. But yeah, if you guys want to join the Wood League, I will have the link in the description below. It is a Google form. All you have to do is fill that out. It'll take you 1 minute. And then I'll also put the tournament descriptions down below. I think we are up to a $200 to $250 prize pool. And then as we're streaming games, any viewer donations are going to go directly to the prize pool. So I only imagine that prize pool growing. We're going to pay out the top 2, maybe 3 people. And also we're going to do a fan favorite MVP at the end. So whoever that may be, it literally could be anyone. Based off of the viewers who are watching, we're going to let them vote on their favorites. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I really want this Risk community to thrive. I want the 1v1 games to only continue to go on up. I want to see more people playing. I don't want any new players to get discouraged. It's a very hard game again to master. Lots of veterans are in there right now playing. The matchmaking is kind of skewed at the moment just because everyone's technically new to the system but not new to the game. And if you guys want help, obviously we are here to help. We want you guys to play. We want you guys to thrive. We want to make you guys absolute pumpers. We've had people in the Wood League before like Mappy. We've had Bambucha. We've had Clocks. All these people started not having played, getting pumped, losing lots, and they played through the Wood League tournament, Path to Ascension, beginner tournament, and now look at them, like they're top 1v1ers in the community. So that definitely could be you. And again, the more people we get playing, the better overall health of the community, and the more people are going to want to keep playing, right? We get people like Easter and Risky Bet and Wild Pet and all these people coming back into the game just because it's so fun. So I'm kind of done on my rant here. I hope that you guys enjoyed the content. Again, I just had to post this video. We needed 1v1s on the channel with how much hype we've had this week, and I just want to keep seeing that hype continue. So thank you all so much, everyone who's been playing. For those of you who are going to go play, I appreciate you all. Thank you, and I will see you all on the next one.